The new year is less than a month away, and now it is time to break out your moves so that you can finish strong this year. Over the last 2 weeks, we have been focusing on becoming more clear with your time and with the ways to protect your energy with the boundaries that you've been setting or that you are working on setting. And if you have been doing even a little bit of that work, you hopefully are starting to notice that you have just a bit more space, a little bit more time, a little bit more energy to really take action. And this breathing room becomes your place where you can stay successful, where you can keep working on your busy or your business even during this busy holiday season. And that is how we're going to bring in the new year. So I am Rachael Britton. I'm a clinical psychologist and a mindset clarity and strategy coach. And what I do is I help entrepreneurs, I help therapists, and I help coaches like you uncover what's holding you back and finally help create that structure, that mindset, and the strategy that will lead you to true time and financial freedom. What I have realized is success, it does not come from forcing more into our day. It just doesn't. It actually comes from aligning your decisions, aligning your offers, and aligning the boundaries to who you are becoming. And that is exactly what this series is about to help you get through this busy season. So, today we are going to fill the space that you are creating for yourself with something powerful. And this is momentum, not pressure, not hustle, just small, intentional actions that can build confidence and set you up for a strong January. Because let's be honest in all of this, let's be honest to ourselves. January's success isn't built in January. It's actually built right now in these little pockets of time that we still have in December. So let's start with a little story about how my December in a few years ago really taught me this lesson. So a few years back, I remember this moment where I was doing the hustle and the bustle and I was doing all of these different things, but I had zero energy left to prepare for anything. I just completely tapped out. And what happened was I was going, and trying to do all these things. And then when it came to my business, I got too overwhelmed. And I was like, I can't balance all of these different things. I can't tolerate it all. And so I released the thing that felt the most overwhelming to me, which was my business. And as a result, it did not set me up for success the next year. And so when this happened, I realized the next year that I needed to change my pattern. I needed to have a plan that would allow me to be more successful in January without burning out in the holiday season. And so instead of trying to cram all of December full of strategy, like trying to cram it all in and add in this and add in that. What I did is I actually lowered the bar. I didn't give up altogether, which was a really important thing for me because that's what I had done in the past. Instead, I really focused on the tiniest possible actions, things that maybe took me 20 minutes or less, but still mattered to help me be successful. And here's what really surprised me within doing all of this. Those tiny actions, they actually carried me into January with so much more confidence and more momentum than a long to-do list that I never got done. And this experience, it really helped me realize that those small steps, they add up over time. And ultimately, the momentum comes from that movement. So when we're in this constant movement, even if it's small steps for the season, it builds that momentum for when we have the space to unleash it, right? So let's break down the 3 areas where small steps make a huge impact. So, the first area that we really want to look at within this busy holiday season is your visibility. And so, the first category, we're really looking at how can you be seen? How can you show up? And how can you remind people that you still exist? because that season in December where I just completely shut down, I was no longer visible. No one knew I was existing. Yes, I had been talking about it before, but people are constantly on the go, right? And so if I am not front and center in their minds when they make a decision to reach out about whatever it was that I was helping with at that time, I wasn't going to be the person they go to. They were going to go to someone else that was being visible. So that's one area that we really want to keep online in this holiday season. The second area is value. So what we really want to do is we want to find small, tiny steps where we can still help people, where we can still share insights, where we can still offer something that is meaningful to them. Again, we don't have to do this at a big capacity, but maybe if it is a couple of things throughout the week, just to A, again, create that visibility, but B, provide value, that is going to help you keep momentum in this. And then the third area is conversion. And so this is where we're turning warm interest into real conversations or sales. And so really within conversion, we need those first two areas, right? Where we are being visible, where we are adding value. But then when someone is ready to talk, when someone is ready to reach out because they see you as someone that might be able to help them, that's where we want to really connect to those conversations. And if we burn ourselves out, we might not be open to those conversations because we just shut everything down. So if we do these smaller steps, we have more capacity when somebody reaches out. So the goal is to focus on taking 1 to 2 steps at a time in each of these areas without overwhelming your system. And when you take even one step in each of these three areas, you are again creating that motion. You are creating that momentum, and that motion builds to confidence. So let's unpack these just a little bit more so you know exactly what to do this week. So your goal this week in momentum area 1 is for visibility, is to let people see you. Examples of this might be tiny moves like posting a short video on Facebook or Instagram, wherever you are. Or maybe it is doing a reel, and the reel is just answering a simple question that your audience often asks. Maybe one way that you can stay visible is just sharing a story about something you learned. Something you learned this year, something that you're working on. Maybe it's just your goal for the next year. And maybe a way to stay visible is just to email your audience. Provide them with something helpful or an insight. It doesn't have to be fancy, right? It's just letting them know that you're still there. And again, visibility, it's not about volume, it's about your presence. It's about being there so people know you're still around. Momentum area 2, value. Again, our goal here is to remind people that you're a guide. You're not just a face. You're not just someone that's being visible. You're actually there to help. So maybe you write down one area that you help individuals, like a pain point or something that is heavy on your audience's heart. And just record a 30-second tip for them. Just speak to their hearts. Let them know that you see them and that you are there to support them. Maybe you just share a behind the scenes moment that teaches something. Or maybe you just give one piece of advice that you wish you would have known 5 years ago. Again, it can be simple, but that value, it builds trust, even when it's tiny. Because when they are struggling, they're going to think of that one value tip that you provided them. And again, adding that to the visibility will help with continuing that connection. And then momentum area 3, the conversion. In this, our goal really is to warm the people who already want to work with you. And when I say warm up, I'm not thinking like in a manipulating way. I'm truly just talking about in relationships. We are warming up our relationships, right? Just in general. In order to have a healthy relationship, we need to nurture it, and that's warming up, right? So nurture the people you've already worked with, and maybe you send a genuine check-in message to them, not a, hey, you want to work with me message, but a genuine, like, how are you doing message to them? How is this busy season for you? Again, you're not going in it with intentions of having them buy something from you. You're going in with intentions of letting them know that you're there and that you care. Right. So, another way that you can stay connected with these individuals is just following up with someone who had asked about your offer earlier in the year. Just check in with them. How are you doing? Where are you at with this? Maybe you just share one spot available for January. Maybe in the conversation you do offer, hey, I have some openings in January. I've really been thinking about you. I know you connected with me last year. Is this something that you want to really lock in for this upcoming year? I think it's really important to understand that conversion is not about pushing. It's actually about reconnecting and just offering them something that might help them out. They get to decide. Again, it's not about pushing them. It's just about connecting with them and seeing if you can support them in some way. And again, when you combined these three micro moves, something shifts inside of you because you stop feeling behind and you actually start feeling capable again because you're doing something and taking action instead of just stopping like I did a couple of years ago. That did not help me with that momentum that I needed. So, again, this momentum map is really about visibility, value, and conversion. And this week, what I really want you to focus on is taking one tiny action step in each of those categories. Okay. That's it. 3 steps, 3 tiny moves. And the goal is never perfection. I will say that over and over. It is never perfection. It is actually just about making small micro movements because in each of those movements, you are seeing progress. Now, as you work on this week, give yourself grace. Recognize that this is something new that you're working on, and it can feel weird to not go all in, right? We're not losing the momentum of not going all in. We're just being more realistic about the energy that we have to release, right? And so really check in with yourself and listen to what you need. Okay? Again, going to the next level in your business, it's not coming from adding more tasks. It's actually coming from stepping into the version of who you want to be and making decisions that feel really clear to you and that you feel confident in. Okay? So again, do a gut check. Make sure it's aligning with your energy and what you have done for that week. So, your challenge, work on those 3 micro actions in each of the categories. And if today's episode gave you some clarity or some inspiration, I would love to hear it below what you took from it. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow the remaining episodes or catch up on the episodes if you have missed them in this series. Because who couldn't use a little December momentum, right? And I am cheering you on. I am excited for this adventure for you. So stick with me, keep going, and you will find the momentum for January. So I will see you next week.